Call of Duty Modern Warfare was my favorite game of 2019. I still play it today. I love it. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal game. A lot of people don't use weapon perks properly to complement their playstyle. This is not going to be a video that's going to give you the hot best guaranteed loadouts. This is the recommended Viper Magic loadout. I'm not doing that. Everybody plays this game differently. Some of you guys camp, some of you guys snipe, some of you run and gun, some of you like to crouch everywhere. Those are all viable strategies. Maybe not the camping one so much, but hey, everybody plays this game differently. But one thing that every one of those play styles has in common is you're using a gun and you're trying to be lethal. Lethality is a very, very important thing to keep in mind with this game. The time to kill is incredibly, incredibly low. Regardless of the gun you use, whether if you like assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles, it does not matter. These weapon perks I'm about to go over are universal across the board, with the exception of a few that are geared specifically towards sniper rifles. Keep that in mind. It's important to understand when and where to use these weapon perks to match your play style, to be lethal. If you are not lethal, you're doing it wrong. Now, I put a plus and minus next to this list because these are things that I think towards these perks. But you know what? I am not the best Modern Warfare player. I'm pretty darn good, but I am not the best. And I guarantee you my play style is radically different than yours. Keep in mind that this should complement how you play. This should complement other perks you have. This should complement your entire play experience. Let's get into it. Fast melee. I think it's trash. If an enemy is sneaking up to hit you, you've already lost. You are dead. You have lost situational awareness. You are not aware of the enemy's surroundings on the map, and you are dead. If it gets into a slapping match or smashing R3 as fast as you can to pull off a melee before your opponent does, you've lost. That's why I think this ability is junk. Recon, I think, is useful when you are first starting out the game because it's going to put the character names at maximum range. There are instances in Ground War where you are going to be outside of that range, but for all intents and purposes, you are going to be able to see this character name anytime with the Recon perk. And why I say it's a good entry skill is because once you start to get a little better at the game and understand the flow of the battlefield and understand where you're spawning in relation to your teammates and where you're spawning in relationship to the enemies, more importantly, you're going to know where to look. And you're going to notice that, hey, somebody's standing in the window getting ready to snipe me. You're going to be able to spot that at range. You're not going to need a big red nameplate over their head to let you know, hey, shoot here. So I think it's a plus early on. I think once you get a little better at the game and you're a little more comfortable with your surroundings, I don't think you need Recon anymore. Full Metal Jacket is a phenomenal ability if you like to hunt enemy equipment and enemy aircraft, if you hate VTOL jets with a passion, if you want to take out any kind of recon or any kind of countermeasures that enemies are using in the air or on the ground, particularly with like sentry guns or if somebody gets a juggernaut, which is very, very infrequent, but if they do, this is going to allow your bullets to do significantly more damage. Keep in mind with all aircraft, if you have a launcher, it's going to do the trick. I know a lot of people don't always carry a launcher as a secondary. A lot of people like to use knives or pistols. That said, if you're going to go the launcher route, you probably don't need this. This is useful in games where it's a landslide and enemies are starting to call in just ridiculous amounts of air support against you, and you want to just kind of, stick it to them even though you're going to lose. I gave it a plus, but ever so slightly. Keep in mind a launcher is going to do much more damage, and it's going to be much more effective than a Full Metal Jacket perk will be. Sleight of hand is an absolute must-have depending on the weapon that you use. If you like to use those big, heavy machine guns that have those ridiculously long load times, you're going to absolutely love this. If you like using guns that have much faster reload time, you're not going to see much advantage here. Keep in mind, sleight of hand is going to reduce your reload time on most guns anywhere from 35 to 45%. So if you are one of those people who likes to run and gun and get in the thick of things and you're constantly shooting and running your weapons dry and you're needing to do those tactical reloads, sleight of hand is definitely something for you. If you're somebody who likes to sit back and take your time and you like to shoot and then kind of fall back under a well-known cover position to reload, this perk will not be beneficial to you. Heavy Hitter is another absolute pass. What it does is when you melee somebody, it makes their crosshair go up even higher than normally. Again, if you are getting into a melee battle, you have already lost. You should not be being anywhere close to enemies. You should be able to take them out with any weapon. If they're turning the corner to swing at you, you should already be unloading on them. I don't think this perk is useful. This would be useful, I guess, for somebody who likes to run and slaps only, but we're not playing GoldenEye 64. Frangible Wounding. This is an extremely useful perk, particularly in bigger battles when you have more than just a normal team. When you're talking like, the big team battles where you have like a ground war, or even the maps that have, like 10 on 10. What it's going to do is it's going to cause enemies to take longer to heal. So when an enemy gets shot, the screen goes red. It takes a few seconds for them to kind of like get back to it. This is going to drastically increase that time. Enemies who are already damaged are going to go down faster, which is going to lead to more kills, which is going to be a little more assists for you. Enemies that are wounded and are also low on HP typically don't push. They fall back and wait. So this is great if you're somebody who likes to spray a lot of cover and suppressive fire for your team. And if you think of the battlefield more as an ocean and you watch these competitive players as a wave as they attack and reload very, very strategically, you're going to find that Frangible Wounding is a highly, highly effective skill when used correctly. Fully Loaded is a perk that's going to give you all your ammo and all your reserves will be max. I don't think it's that great, and I'll tell you why. If you're somebody who is just spraying like a madman, quit doing that, first of all. You're not really helping anybody. You're wasting everybody's time. Second of all, if you are killing people, that means you're most likely pushing forward, and you're probably better off getting Scavenger, which is not a weapon perk. It's just a regular perk that's going to allow you to pick up ammo on the fly, and you're going to be able to stay in the battle longer. This perk would be really for somebody who likes to lay back and just, camp and sit there on a map the entire time with a sniper rifle and just go nutso, or for somebody who likes to just basically run and gun, but more gun than run, because this is a lot of ammo early on, and I just don't see this being effective really in any viable strategy. Frangible Disabling is also a very useful skill. Again, if you are pushing, what this will do is if you're shooting an enemy, there's a chance you're going to slow them down. So their tactical sprint will be disabled, particularly when shooting their legs. Most likely, you're not going to shoot somebody and lay off. You're going to go for a kill. But if you manage to shoot somebody in the legs, they're going to slow down. That's why I say I think it's an effective ability. This is great for objective-based maps when you are trying to overwhelm an enemy quickly. This is great for swarming and taking people out very, very, very quickly. Mo Money, as cool as it is an absolute hard pass. You're going to get more experience for headshots only. The amount of bonus experience points and crazy perks and all that kind of like double XP weekends and all that stuff that go around make this really useless, in my opinion. I guess if you are a headshot whiz and you're trying to power level for whatever reason, maybe it's the end of season 1. I don't know. Maybe that's would be useful, but otherwise you're definitely not going to increase your lethality with this. It's a hard pass. Presence of Mind is an absolute must if you're a sniper. It's going to give you an extended period of time to hold your breath. As of right now, it may be patched. We're almost up to 1 minute. So you're going to be able to basically sit there with perfect bobbingless crosshairs. That means nothing is moving at all. You are shooting on a rail at this point. If you like to snipe and you like to camp and you like to sit there and wait, this is an absolute must. And even if you're not so much on the camper side, but you're somebody with a snipe who wants to kind of wait out the enemy for a few seconds, Presence of Mind is an absolute must-have. Next is Burst. Burst comes in different flavors depending on the type of gun that you have, but burst in of itself means not full auto. That means when you depress the trigger, you're going to get a couple rounds and that's it. You're going to have to let go and pull down the trigger to get off a couple more shots. It does increase the recoil slightly. However, the amount of time that it takes, and most guns do not let you kill an enemy in a single burst, so you're going to have to do it at least once or twice. You're better off going full auto at that point and just controlling the recoil manually rather than letting the game dictate how fast you can shoot. That's why, to me, burst is a pass. There are probably instances with very specific guns under very specific circumstances where you may just want to burst, but I think you're talking at a much more competitive level at that point, most likely coordinating shots with other teammates, marking targets, which is incredibly difficult to do in our normal pickup games that we play where we just queue up with a bunch of randos and you're just going to see somebody and light them up. So you're not going to be sitting there bursting. You're going to be shooting full auto. Lastly is focus. That is going to reduce your flinch resistance when you're getting hit. That is also going to make your time to kind of clear out the cobwebs, so to speak, a little bit better. I think it's a pass. If you are getting shot at already, you've lost unless you're shooting back. This isn't going to give you the competitive edge by any stretch of the imagination. I hope you guys found this video informative. I put the quote up at the top. I think I've said it like 100 times in this video. The number one thing is to be lethal. Take your perks, think about them, and apply them to the way that you play the best. And I guarantee you, it will make you a better player. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.